Acese Garrard, Columbus, Ohio. I think as a man, one of the reasons we start to, as we go through life in general, one of the reasons we start to struggle is we get so focused on safety, security, and stability, and as providers, focused in around how do we take care of those around us. And one of the things that I was struggling with was over the last year and a half, I had lost so much focus around the things that made me happy, my goals, my dreams, my visions, my hobbies, and had just solely focused on how do I make more money as a provider? How do I provide more safety, more security, more stability, and provide a better life for my wife and my kids? That I was really struggling, from a perspective of what about me and my happiness and my mental health. And, part of the reason that I had reached out to Zack about joining Uncaged was because that was specific to what we focused on from the outside looking in around Uncaged was how do we save more time, save more money, how do we put together all of the different focus areas of our life to make sure that we as men are in the best position possible to pour into others as well. I've been in other communities that, I think growing up, one of the things that is super important is who you surround yourself with. And every single time in my life, as I've grown myself or grown my career, it was always about, who do I have around me that's pouring into me? Who's mentoring me while I'm also mentoring others and giving back from the things that I learned from them? So, I've been a part of communities in the past, and one of the things that I always recognized about certain communities was there's always a self-narrowed interest. And, as I was looking at Uncaged and talking to Zack and talking to the different members of the group, one of the things that I noticed was I didn't see that at all. Was it truly was a group that was crew made and crew driven. And what I mean by that is everyone in the group ultimately gives back and gives value to the group and pours into every single member of the community. So that was one of the things I noticed. But again, my doubts as I was looking from the outside in, and I took quite a bit of time. I was in the free group for roughly 60 days, and I just observed. I really didn't participate, and I just observed to see what they were about. So my doubts heading into it was, are these people true? Are these men in this group true? And is the perception of what I see a true reality, or is this just something from, another group where there's just self-narrowed interest? And as I went through it, my experience was that it wasn't the case. There was no self-narrowed interest. It was truly about just giving back to every single member and helping every single person in the group become 1% better every single day to be the best version of themselves at the end of the day. The key moment that, ultimately was the reason that I joined Uncaged. Again, I had been looking around and watching Zack from afar and watching how he was leading the group and watching the men inside the group and how they were interacting. And I just happened to see a video one day, and I reached out to a member in the group, Rob Ortiz, someone that had been in another community with me in the past, and kind of leaned into him and said, hey, here's some things that I'm really exploring. I'm really exploring a couple different things for me right now and what makes me happy, and I'm looking for an accountability group that can help me get back on track. What are your thoughts around Uncaged? And he gave raving reviews of the people in the group, gave me some people to reach out to, and I just started to do some more research, and then reached out to Zack. Zack sent me a link, and we booked a call, and from there, he kind of helped me paint the vision of how we were going to get back on track and what the accountability was and who the resources in the group that I need to reach out to get started, and we got started. The first major step for me was really my call with Zack and being a part of the Big Ass Problem coaching beta that Zack was doing at the time. We scheduled a call, and then from there, working with Zack and painting the whiteboard vision around my dream life, and helping me solve my big ass problem at the time, which was how do I get back to being happy? How do I get back to mental clarity, mental focus around the things that truly drive me and motivate me, so that I can be the best version of myself? And Zach was able to do that through one interaction, one call, really narrowed my focus around the things that I needed to focus on, my big three critical tasks, and gave me a whiteboard vision to go out and paint my dream life scenario, which also provided the clarity that I was looking for. And this isn't something that like I haven't done in the past, right? It was just that I had gotten so lost over the last year and a half and so focused on all the things that weren't me that I just forgot. And it was a very simple task. And through his accountability and his follow up as a part of the Big Ass Problem coaching program, within 30 days, all of the things that he had challenged me to do, all the homework assignments that he had given me to do, all the tasks, able to accomplish all of those within 30 days. And, even as quickly as 15 days, my life, from a happiness perspective was significantly improved, which only allowed me to dig in even more and accomplish those critical tasks, which eventually got me back on track with the big ass problem that I was trying to solve. I think the biggest doubt that anyone faces being an outsider coming into a community of strangers, specifically with men, is like men at the end of the day, there has to be a balance of ego and humility. And one of the things that I was concerned about initially after joining was I didn't know anyone in the group. So, for me, this was 100+ strangers that I had never met, and I needed to come in and be the best version of myself. So at the same time, you start to internally reflect and have imposter syndrome around how can I contribute to the group? How can I contribute to these 8, 9, 10-figure earners? And also at the same time, what if they don't like me? What if they aren't humble? What if they want to take advantage of me? Those types of things. And I experienced none of that as I got into the group. In having conversations with people like Jacob Stoller in the group who challenged my thinking right away, almost on day one, and helped me look at something completely different around even in regards to my son and how I was empowering my son to be weak. Which I knew at the end of the day, but no one had said it to me, which helped me reflect and be humble and seek guidance around things that I could do different as a parent moving forward. And more importantly, the standard that I was living up to and the leadership that I was providing to my family internally. So right away, I experienced none of what I feared or had doubts about inside of the group, and it was only support. And then from there, the accountability around it, where Jacob actually followed up with me directly to see how it was going and what changes I had made. So super grateful for that, super appreciative of that conversation. But more importantly, anytime you join a community of men, is it truly like-minded? And that's where all of my doubts and my fears were erased from day one. And we truly are just 100% like-minded. My life has improved exponentially in the short time that I've been within Uncaged. And from a holistic approach of I've been able to make business decisions that have essentially exited a seat and taken an active income and created that passively. I doubled my income by taking on another consulting role as well, which ultimately led into profit share within that company. So that was all from a business sense, but also from a personal standpoint, my relationship with my son has gotten significantly better, as well as his behavior has gotten significantly better too, as we raise the standard of what men in our family look like. My relationship with my daughter and my wife has gotten substantially better. We've been able to put date nights back in place with the entire family. And more importantly, my relationship with my wife and, the standards that we hold for each other and the accountability we provide to each other with doing weekly date nights and re-enabling that relationship. We've been together for 19 years. We know each other inside and out, but how do we make it feel like the first 6 months all over again by dating each other has been incredibly helpful as well, which was a best practice inside the group. And then, when you look at my relationships outside of that and the accountability I provide to those that I am surrounded with as well, and how I'm helping them get better, my health has gotten better. My rhythm and my morning routines have gotten better. I've been able to put on 16 pounds of muscle over this time frame as well because of the rhythm that comes back and the accountability within the group of getting back into the gym and keeping a mindful eye around my health, and then how I'm challenging my friends and the people around me to get better as well. So my life has improved significantly in all facets. I will tell you the most significant thing that I've experienced in my time would be the Q2 retreat, where me and 10 other couples, so 25 other strangers from all across the country, First time I had ever met people inside, some people within the group, flew into a house where we stayed for 3 days. And from the moment that we landed, I met people like Taylor Cooper, who called me, and we rode from the airport to Rock and Brews together, and was able to learn about him and his wife. And then, we get to the restaurant, and as everyone's arriving, it's just like family, and we're all hanging out. We're talking about the things going on in our life, the things going on in our business, and it was really incredible to then move that into a house where we were basically living for 3 days with complete strangers, and from every single instance, it was just family. This was a moment where we had never met these people. We flew across the country and stayed in a house with strangers again, and then we flew in as couples, and we spent all of Saturday talking about how do we be better in our relationships, how do we communicate better. There's people in the group that have been together for 40 years. There's people like me and Ashley that have been together for 20 years, but still have things that we're working on. There's people in the group that are just in a newer relationship and have things that they're working on as well. And we were able to come together and be vulnerable and talk about the things going on in our relationships, different intimacy things that you typically wouldn't even talk about in some of your closest circles. And we were able to do that as complete strangers, all in the effort of being the best parents, the best spouses, the best individual selves that we could be in how we show up in those relationships. And as we left that day, it was 25 incredible relationships completely built through 3 days of all having the same goal at the end of the day of being the best versions of ourselves, and striving to be that 1% better within our relationship as individuals, and how we were showing up for our significant others and our spouses. So it was probably the most powerful thing that I had ever seen at the end of the day. So I would say that is the biggest win, and my takeaways and how I've communicated inside my relationship with my wife, who I've been together for 19 years, and we still have opportunities around we communicate. Since we left that event, our communication has been on point. We've had 0 arguments or fights, and it has been huge. So when you think about one big problem that I was able to solve coming out of that weekend, not only did I walk away with 25 new family members, but more importantly, I walked away with a better relationship with my wife. At the end of the day, these are family members, right? And when we have problems and we have things that we're going through as men, we need an outlet where we can discuss and be vulnerable and get critical feedback, and it not be ego driven, but truly be in the best honor of making me the best version possible, and then pouring into other people in the group as well. And as I continue to build a relationship in the group and helping people solve their problems as well, from a business and a personal perspective, it truly is building a family at the end of the day. And I now have 80 new people all across the country that I have connections with that I would call family. And it's awesome because no matter where I travel, there's someone that's in Uncaged that I can reach out to if I need a place to stay, or if I'm traveling through and I just want to get dinner with them. And if I have a problem that I'm trying to solve at work or within my business or within my relationship, I have an outlet where I can truly discuss these things and know that these people have the best interests at the end of the day. What you see from the outside looking in is real. These are real men with real problems, with real focus and narrowed interest around how do we get better as individuals. At the end of the day, all of us are smarter than one of us. And when we come together as a collective force to get better, there's nothing that we can't achieve as both a group and as individuals. So from the outside looking in, if you're contemplating, should I join Uncaged? The value at the end of the day for $97 to sit on the expert calls, to connect with the people in the group that are 8, 9, 10-figure earners, to connect with people in the group who've experienced a ton of things that you can learn from and collectively apply to your life and your business. I would say that it's not about the $97. It's about the infinite return that you're going to get both in your personal and your professional life to move your life forward at the end of the day. So if you're considering it, you have to join. Boom.
Anything else to add, or is that it?
No, good.